What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another one. If you're new to the channel, I am Gold Pony. I do new car, truck, SUV reviews on YouTube, and today we're in the brand new 2025 Nissan Frontier, courtesy of Younger Nissan in Frederick, Maryland. For more information on their inventory, please feel free to check out the link in the description box below. So I'm in this one today because there's some big changes for the 2025 Frontier. Got updated styling, updated tech, increased max towing capacity, and I can also tell you that the steering wheel, it's actually telescoping this year, whereas in previous years it never has been. That was always one of my big constructive criticisms, if you will, of this vehicle, so they fixed it. That's pretty cool. This is a good looking truck, and he's still got a naturally aspirated V6 in this thing as well, so all very good things. So ultimately in this video we will be testing out and going over everything about this one, from acceleration to braking, steering feel, ride quality, sound system, exhaust clip, all that fun stuff. So having said all of that, what do you guys say? Let's just go ahead and jump right into it, and as always, let's start with pricing. So as you can imagine, there are a few different configurations available for the Frontier SV. First one being the King Cab 4x2 long bed, going for $34,390. Then you got the Crew Cab 4x2 going for $35,790. And lastly, the Crew Cab 4x2 long bed starting at $36,290. That was all pricing for the two-wheel drive. If you wanted to add four-wheel drive, you can do that. Simply add $3,300 then to any of those prices. But regardless of the configuration that you go with, the power plant for the Frontier is going to be the same, and this is one of the best parts. Powering the beast is a 3.8 liter naturally aspirated V6, putting out 310 horsepower at 6,400 RPM, 281 pound-feet of torque coming in at 4,400 RPM. That power being sent to the rear wheels or all wheels through a 9-speed automatic. 0 to 60 time for this one, if you're interested, 7.3 seconds, with MPG numbers coming in at 18 in the city, 24 in the highway for the rear wheel drive, 17 city, 22 then on the highway for the four-wheel drive, taking regular unleaded fuel. But so now having got all of that out of the way, what do you guys say? Let's go ahead and find straight away. Let's put the acceleration here to the test first, and let's see how quickly we can get this one here up to speed. All right, guys, found her straight away here in 3, 2, 1, go. There it is. That's plenty. That is plenty for a pickup truck, man. Plenty of an acceleration to merge you onto any highway. There was a little bit of a delay at the very beginning there, but once you get higher up in the RPMs, that's typically how it works with naturally aspirated engines. You just go, man. So big fan of that acceleration, actually. And I love that it's naturally aspirated, because when you look at a lot of the competition these days, let's say the Toyota Tacoma, it's a turbocharged 4-cylinder now. So the fact that this is a naturally aspirated V6 still not only gives it a little better reliability long-term, but I just like the more predictable acceleration with the naturally aspirated engine compared to the turbocharged engines. It's just my personal preference, but I'm a big fan of it. But anyways, to go along with that acceleration, as always, braking is equally important. So four-wheel ventilated disc brakes do come standard. As far as that 60 to 0 stopping distance goes, that comes in at a very, very respectable 115 feet. That's typically a sports sedan number, by the way. So as far as braking feel goes, it's wonderful. Definitely on the firm side of things, instantly brings you to a stop. So far when it comes to performance, Nissan Frontier is right where it's at least in my opinion. So now let's go ahead and touch on suspension and handling here. Up front, you're gonna get an independent double wishbone type front suspension. In the back, overslung multi-leaf rear suspension, front stabilizer bar, but then if you go with the Crew Cab, you get front and rear stabilizer bars. So we did want to mention that. Overall, as far as ride quality goes, I mean, we're on a smooth road right now, but back there, I will say, it rides like a truck. I'll just put it that way. It's not the very smoothest ride out there, but it's nothing that would personally bother me. I'll put it that way. But what really sold me the second I started driving this thing, you guys will notice it when you go to test drive a Frontier, you'll notice this instantly. The heavy steering feel, man, it is wonderful. I love a heavy steering feel, and that's what you typically want to look for in a truck, because it's just a better feel overall. So loosey-goosey steering feels are typically what you find in SUVs. You typically find a heavier steering feel like sports cars, but this feels wonderful. I love the steering feel in this thing. Overall, as far as cabin noise goes, we're going 33-ish miles per hour right now, so I'll let you guys be the judge of that through my road mic. There's a little bit of road noise, but honestly, again, it's nothing that would bother me. And then taking a look at rear visibility, if you've ever driven a pickup truck before, you know what this looks like. It's perfectly fine, so definitely no issues looking out my rear view mirror here. But that pretty much rounds out the performance segment of this review, guys. Like I said, there's so many changes I still have yet to cover, so let's go ahead and find a cool spot in this park, and let's take a look now at the exterior of our brand new 2025 Nissan Frontier. All right, so here she is, you guys, the new 2025 Nissan Frontier, finished in gun metallic, in case you wanted to know our exterior color that we had with us here on this one. But as always, let's go ahead and start with where this one is made. Taking a look at the VIN, first character is the number 1, indicating that the new Frontier is built and assembled here in the US. So that is pretty cool. But let's go ahead and start up front, because there is some revised styling for the 2025 model year. For example, I know these three little accent pieces just above the front grille here typically were only found on the Pro 4X, but they are now on the SV as well this year, so that is pretty cool. But anyways, revised front grille and bumper for 2025 overall. You get a gloss metallic front grille that does come standard, steel front skid plate underneath as well, and you guys can see those recovery hooks up front as well. That is pretty darn cool. And by the way, that's for the crew cab long bed, those front tow hooks or recovery hooks. That is how you're going to go ahead and get them. But to the sides, this is one thing I would probably change about this one. Halogen headlights still come standard on the Frontier, whereas pretty much everything else, every vehicle out there right now is giving you LED. So that's probably one thing Nissan needs to update with their new CEO. Maybe they will pretty soon here. But you do get the automatic feature. Automatic high beams are going to be optional for the SV. LED daytime running lights actually are also optional for the SV. Fog lights are also going to be optional. We do not have them with us here today, and those are LED fog lights, by the way, the optional fog lights up there. And you know what I just remembered? Where those three little accent pieces are above the front grille last year, I believe that was Frontier lettering going across there. So I think that is one of the changes that they made for this model year. So anyways, I just wanted to point that out because I just remembered it. But that pretty much rounds out the front end of this one. Let's now go ahead and swing around to the side. All right, so now since we are around to the side of this one, rear privacy glass does come standard. You get body colored power adjustable side mirrors. Heated side mirrors, though, are going to be optional if you wanted those. They take a look down at the wheel setup. These wheels definitely look new to me. I could be wrong, but they are 17-inch 6-spoke aluminum alloys. They look pretty darn good. It's kind of like a double 3-spoke almost. So I don't know. I like the look of them. They're different, but running boards are going to be optional. I can tell you guys, though, I am even 6 feet tall. I've found it perfectly comfortable getting in and out of this thing, so I don't think you necessarily need them, but they are available if you did want them, though. So that pretty much rounds out the side profile. Let's now go ahead and swing around to the back. All right, so now since we are around to the back of this one, all the way to the very, very top, you will find a matte black shark fin antenna, center high mount stop lamp, of course. LED taillights actually do come standard on the Frontier. I wish they put the LED standard on the front as well, not just the back, but either way, it's a win, I suppose. Got the Frontier lettering found on the rear tailgate, of course. That looks pretty darn good. Got the 4x4 badging back there as well. Increased towing capacity for 2025. So last year, the max towing capacity for the SV was 6,200 pounds. This year, it comes in at 7,130 pounds, so almost 1,000 pounds more. That is pretty darn cool. And of course, you get the 4 and 7 pin connectors back there coming standard as well. But then underneath of it all, you will find a single exhaust outlet. It is tucked away underneath on the passenger side there. So having said that, I do believe you guys know what we have to do next here. As always, here is that exhaust clip. Alright, so now since we are around to the back of the Frontier here, when it comes to opening that rear tailgate, it is an easy lower tailgate. I wanted to start by mentioning that. So it's not going to come crashing down on you when you're back there, so that's pretty nice. But as far as bed length goes, once it's opened up, 73.3 inches. The bed width comes in at 61.4 inches. The width between the wheel wells comes in at 44.5 inches, and then payload capacity, 1,600 pounds. That's as far as the numbers go for back there. But spray on bed liner is going to be optional. 120 volt power outlet is going to be optional as well. Got overhead cargo bed lighting. That does come standard actually. LED bed lighting is going to be optional if you wanted that, but overall that certainly gets the job done back there. I didn't have any issues there. But now let's go ahead and make our way up to the rear legroom. That is going to come in at 26.2 inches for the king cab, and then 33.2 inches for the crew cab that we have with us here today. For reference, I'm an even 6 feet tall. This is how much space I had in the back seats there. And by the way, they are 60-40 split flip up bench seats, so you do have extra space then if you needed it for like a Mastiff or a Great Dane or something like that. I don't know, but rear center armrest with cup holders does come standard. You actually get 2 USB charging ports back there as well, a USB-A and USB-C, so I like that. So then making our way up to the front seats, manually adjustable cloth seats coming with the king cab, 6-way power driver's seat with 2-way power lumbar coming with the crew cab. Leather seating is going to be optional for the crew cab. Heated seats are going to be optional for the crew cab as well, but overall, as far as seat comfort goes, it was okay. Not the very most comfortable seats, but it wasn't bad either. So honestly, it was perfectly fine for me. Would have been better if it was vertical seams so you don't have the awkward pressure points of the horizontal seams, but nonetheless, it got the job done for me at least. But now let's go ahead and take a look at the steering wheel, because this is one of the big changes for this year, because for years now, I've been reviewing this truck, and every single year it's been a tilt, but it's never been a telescoping steering wheel. But that has changed for the 2025 model year, because now it does telescope out as well. So that is pretty darn cool. That is probably the biggest change for me for this year, because that's really a big deal. But now let me go ahead and make our way to the startup. Let me start by showing you guys the key. You got your Nissan logo on the top, but then just lock and unlock. Pretty basic key there. Remote start, you can get that. That goes for $375, but it is all keyless entry with a push button start that comes standard. So all I'm going to do here is simply put my foot on the brake and press that engine start button located just by the driver's right knee. And so once started up, tachometer is going to be all the way to your left, speedometer is on your right. There is a digital screen front and center to control what is on that screen. There are some steering wheel mounted controls found on the left side of the steering wheel. Gives you things like your outside temperature, how many miles you have left until you hit empty. There's a digital speedometer readout. There's some off-road statistics about elevation and things like that. So that is pretty darn cool. There's basically everything you could possibly think of, quite honestly. So I can just scroll through this all day, and there's quite a bit of options down there. So tire pressure for each individual tire is a big one for me at least too, so I liked that. But now let's go ahead and make our way to overall interior quality. If you wanted a power moonroof, it's going to be optional for the crew cab, but it doesn't come standard, so I wanted to mention that. It looks like no more overhead sunglass holder for this year though. I remember that in last year's model, so I guess they did away with that one. Home link controls go for $110 if you wanted them. No dual zone climate control looks like this year either. That's kind of interesting. Wireless phone charger is going to be optional on the crew cab, an option that we don't have with us here today, but in lieu of that, you do get a little bit of rubberized storage just in front of the shifter there, so that is more than likely where you're going to put yourself in. Just to the right of the shifter, you got your dual cup holders, a little bit of storage right behind that within the center armrest. There's a ton of space in there, so certainly got plenty of room there. But I will say everything's kind of on the basic side of things. You have a random chrome door handle. I think that's the only chrome thing on this vehicle, so I don't know, they probably could have finished that with like a silver finish instead of chrome, because it just looks a little out of place in my opinion. But you do get a little bit more rubberized storage just above this massive infotainment screen that I'll be touching on here in a second, but I liked that as well. But like I said, everything's kind of on the basic side of things. I don't mind it, and I love this Frontier lettering found just underneath of the infotainment screen as well. But since I keep mentioning it, this is new, by the way, for 2025. A new 12.3-inch color touchscreen display. It was an 8-inch screen last year, so another big upgrade for this year. Get Bluetooth and audio streaming, newly standard wireless Android Auto, Apple CarPlay as well. You gotta love that. Factory navigation system is going to be optional, and of course you can check out your radio information up there as well. So when it comes to the sound systems, there are 2 of them. 6 speakers does come standard, but there is an optional 10-speaker Fender sound system that goes for $750 if you were interested. But anyways, let's go ahead and turn on the radio. Let's see what we got playing this morning, and let's test out our 6-speaker sound system that we have with us here today. All right, stupid amount of bass. Like, the Nissan always does this, man. Like, the clarity was okay. It sounded like 6 speakers when it comes to the clarity, but the bass was overkill, man. So much bass in this thing. So I don't know, I kind of liked it. You didn't expect it, but it's a lot of bass, so I don't know. Anyways, last thing I wanted to mention to you guys on the infotainment screen is when you do put the Frontier in reverse, you will find a rear view camera coming standard across the board. Not the highest quality rear view camera, but it certainly gets the job done nonetheless, which is always going to lead us into safety. So the first thing I always mention when it comes to safety is the IIHS rating. This one is not an IIHS top safety pick. Most pickup trucks aren't, but there are some that are. But anyways, front side curtain airbags do come standard. Driver and passenger knee airbags up front as well. In the back, you're going to have latch, aka lower anchors and tethers for children for the rear car seats, rear child door locks, tire pressure monitoring system, but also coming standard, and by the way, newly standard for 2025. Get ready, it's a lot. brake assist, blind spot warning system, lane departure warning, driver attention alert, adaptive cruise control, and rear parking sensors. So in case you were curious, this was all part of a technology package last year that went for $900. All of that is now standard this year for the 2025 Frontier. So another big change for this particular model year. I like that. But anyways, when it comes to my final thoughts, very nice design itself still, in my personal opinion. I like the looks of it. Love the naturally aspirated V6. Love the heavy steering feel as well. The steering feel just instantly won it over for me the second I pulled it out of the parking spot. Excellent braking as well, 60, 0, and 115 feet. Like I said, that's a sports sedan number, so that's brilliant. A lot of the performance in this truck is right where it should be. I also love all the updates. I love the bigger screen. I love the standard safety now. I think they just really need to update the front headlights. That's the only thing left, I think, that I would update on this thing. You gotta get some new LED headlights, because halogens, there's very, very few vehicles that still get halogens, and the Frontier is one of them for whatever reason. So anyways, come on Nissan, come on new CEO with the cool Nissan Z. I know you could do it, but let me know what you guys think of the Frontier in the comment section below. That's about it for this one, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to follow me on social media somewhere there on the screen. Be sure to hit the subscribe and the bell notification button if you're into new car reviews. That is what we do here on this channel for 11 years now. Do appreciate you guys watching more than you know, and I will see you guys all in the next video. Stay gold.